Good morning, Butterfield Trail Village. I'd like to welcome you to the February 27th, 1858 town meeting. I received a letter on February 3rd from Stagecoach Mary, and I would like to read it to you. To all passengers considering transport from Tipton, Missouri to San Francisco, California, the Honorable John Butterfield has announced a new and impressive stagecoach stop along the 2,800-mile-long journey to deliver the U.S. mail route currently operating. Please note that on your travels, you can now enjoy rest and dine at this new stagecoach stop located in the beautiful Ozark Mountains of Fayetteville, Arkansas. The estimated time of arrival will be Tuesday, March 10th, from 11:30 to 1:30. While the horse team rests, passengers are invited to enjoy a home-cooked meal and fellowship at the Lodge building before heading out west. There are no current reports of bandits in the area, and Deputy U.S. Marshal Bass Reeves will be in the area for protection should we need it. Can you believe Butterfield Trail Village will be 40 on March 10th? This is an absolute high milestone for our village, and I hope that you will indulge me over the next year as we celebrate our anniversary. In your publications, you will read about the Luminary Series. The Luminary Series is a 3-part event that will honor our founders, talk about our history, and help us understand what these pioneers, just like John Butterfield, did to make sure that we have this amazing community. So be watching your calendars. We have an event on March 10th, Tuesday, the lunch in the lodge, and then we will have a presentation on the history in the evening featuring speakers that include board members, residents, and staff. We have another event in July, and then we'll have a third and final event in September with a big gala. So I hope you'll be preparing your calendars and be a part of this wonderful celebration. Let's see. We've got a lot going on the second week of March. So we have our anniversary on the 10th, and then on Wednesday the 11th, we're hosting, once again, the Fort Smith Symphony String Quartet. Do you remember these young, energetic artists who did Bach to Beatles? Well, they will be back, and they're going to be performing the music of Hans Zimmer, German composer. How many of you have heard of Hans Zimmer? Okay, well, just in case you haven't, if you've ever watched the movie The Lion King, Gladiator, Interstellar, oh my goodness, there's so many. He has created the memorable scores to all of these movies. And this young group will be performing, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have some film pieces to go along with their music. You still have the opportunity to sign up for the Beginner 1 or Beginner 2 watercolor class that begins March 18th and runs through April. We originally had an 8-week course that's finishing up next week. This will be a 6-week course. And I will help you, if you're just starting out, I'll be glad to help you get your supplies. Sarah Graves, who is the instructor, is just a doll, and she is doing a great job helping people not be so intimidated by watercolor. And people are making beautiful pieces. A few other notations I have, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer, is today at 4 o'clock, happy hour in the bistro, BYOB. We have our resident lecture series starting back up, and our guest will be Barbara Hinton. Barbara Hinton is retired from the university, but she is a wonderful photographer. And she's going to approach why we take photos, what's the purpose, and why do we think we need to capture something on our phones or on a camera. So please join us for that on the 26th. But more importantly than anything else I've mentioned this morning, mark your calendars for the 31st. We're having an ice cream social. All right, Jen.
Good morning. So hikes, they're right around the corner, and I'm excited about our hiking program. They're going to start March 16th. And for the first 5 hikes, they're all going to be paved. And it's going to be learning how to use the urban pole walking or the Nordic walking sticks. If you commit to learning these, they will give you a better workout, help with posture. They actually give you a better cardiovascular workout. They're muscle strengthening, and their stability. So please come and learn the Nordic walking sticks on our first 4 hikes. We're going to be going to some wonderful locations like Lake Atalanta, Gully Park, Wilson Park, Kohler Mountain, all with the intention to learn to use the walking sticks. Keisha, Sarah, who's interning with us, and myself, we are all doing a class all Monday to make sure that we can teach it really well. We're all teaching it just the same, so get excited for the hiking program. After that, we're back deep into the woods, and every one of the hikes will have a picnic. So get ready for picnics, urban walking, urban pole walking, and getting deep into the woods this season. Also, if you have not signed up for an orientation to learn how to use our functional fitness gym, which is located next to the equipment in the lodge, we still have some times available. And the class has started. The class is every day except Monday at 1:30. You do not need to sign up. You just show up and you will get a very good workout. And everything in that workout is designed to keep you doing what you like doing it with strength. So hopefully we'll see you at that class. If you want to learn the moves first, just sign up for the orientation at the transportation desk. And we're also hatching a lot of plans for other stuff, so stay tuned, and I hope you have a good day and a good weekend.
All right, good morning. I'm going to continue with the all good news today. Little update from the bonds. We sold the bonds on Tuesday, and more to come on that. I'll give you a little more information. I want to kind of update you on the timeline of the way that happened. On January the 12th, we had a meeting with the Fitch Bond Rating Agency, and that was the Monday that we had the council meeting that our team was not able to attend. Then on January the 19th, we had a special meeting with the Board Finance Committee to discuss the bond rating and the project budget. We met again on February the 3rd with the Board Finance Committee to discuss the feasibility study and the potential interest rates and further discuss the project budget. Then on February the 17th, there was an investment webinar with potential investors, and Chuck Nickel, your board president, was attending that. And that was the call. There were about 15 firms on the call, and there was a lot of questions. At the end of the presentation, I made a presentation, and there was a lot of questions, question and answer session at the end. Then on February the 18th, the Board Finance Committee met again to discuss the webinar and the project budget and the gross maximum price of the project. And then on February 23rd, we had a pre-pricing bond call, and Chuck Nickel, your board president, was also present for that. And this was a what to expect call when the bonds go up for sale, and they kind of prepared us on what the interest rate could be and what that would entail. Then the next day on February 24th at about 9:30 a.m., the bonds went to market, and about 16 firms wanted interest in the bond. So it was very well received, the most well-received bonds that were available that day, they said. So there was a lot of interest, which in our benefit, it drove the interest rate down, and I'll update you a little bit on that in a minute. So then on February the 25th, the final interest rate and bond terms were reported to the board and the resident council all at the same time. This was this past Wednesday. So before we get into that, just thanks to the resident finance committee, the board finance committee, the board, and Kim for putting all of it together. Hundreds of emails with 11 different agencies, 30 plus professionals on the call, about 17 attorneys, a lot of information, a lot of weekends, a lot of nights putting it all together. And a lot of board involvement, several board members here 3 to 4 days per week with Zoom calls and conference calls, just a lot to go into the preparation for it. So that being said, the bonds were sold on Tuesday, very well received in the market, about 16 firms interested in the purchase. The interest rate ended up being 5.4% all in. In the feasibility study, we had it at 5.8, which, what does that mean? That's about a $1.2 million savings over the course of the loan due to the lower interest rate than the feasibility study showed. So all good news there. A little bit of update on the design. Of course, we know the presentation was lacking due to the architect not being here. He had COVID and was not able to attend. But some good things did come from it. We got a lot of good ideas, a lot of suggestions were made. We were able to implement a lot of the suggestions, if not all of them. We have additional washers and dryers added, folding tables, dimmable lighting, low vision machine, and of course, new carpet samples on the way. The Baycats went out. So a lot of good things came from the meeting, and there'll be more discussion before the final selections are made. We'll have another meeting with the architect, and he'll come present when he's back in Fayetteville in the next couple of weeks probably, but we'll update you on that. We did receive a temporary grading permit from the city of Fayetteville, which means that we can start the grading of the property probably in the next, well, it's going to rain all next week, probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, the grading will continue or start. We have some lines to trench, so all that should start pretty soon. Actual groundbreaking won't start till probably the middle of April. We have parking lot update. We're working on the grading, still working on the city's approval for the new grading. That's why the construction of that is temporarily stopped. So that will pick back up hopefully soon. The other things going on, as you see around campus, we've got the painting project getting ready to wrap up. We have the power washing going on. And the fence is something we've discussed is going on. The landscape committee had approved by unanimous vote the design of the fence on the entry of Butterfield. So we'll be presenting that once we have the final picture. We'll be presenting that once we get the full quote. Then it'll take 8 to 12 weeks to schedule that. So that should be coming pretty soon. We have made the initial payment for the southwest elevator, and we are still waiting on the scheduling of that. So the Wi-Fi update is in progress, and the grounds team, as you see, is working very hard to get the campus looking great before, as the spring is coming up. So a couple of other things going on. We had some resident suggestions to ramp up our Parkinson's program. So that'll be going, and that's one of the programs Jennifer was talking about. So you'll see that get ramped up here in the next few weeks. She had a lot of great ideas. We had a meeting this past week, so excited about that. And one thing I wanted to mention that you don't typically see or don't see a lot of her is Rebecca, who is our University of Arkansas graduate student. She's a master's student now, but she'll be here as a PhD student. It's a 4-year commitment that she's working in special care, and she's working on strength, balance, coordination, all with the special care residents to help prevent falls and just functional, just improving their functional abilities and maintaining as much functional status as they can for as long as they can. So that's going on, and she'll be presenting to you. So her first study kind of came out. This is a 4-year project, so there'll be more to come. And once she gets a little further down the road, then she'll come present to this group. So we're excited to have her in there. So if you see her, she's here about 25 hours a week. So and she stays in special care pretty much the whole time. So, but that's an exciting program. We were glad to get started. And to kind of grow on that, she's going to have her own student next year, so there'll be 2 people back there working on the same study. And we'll probably get into more Parkinson's and different things in the second study. So that's a good thing going on. So, all right, that's my updates, and I'm here for any questions that you have. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a question of Ricky?
Yes.
I need some clarification. I read the calendar, and on March the 9th, it says that Walton Art Center is having their big Broadway extravaganza. And it says that Butterfield's going to take a bus, but then the little postscript says that it is for friends of Walton only, and that you have to have your tickets
She's asking about the Walton Arts Center program to announce the Broadway series. And are we running a bus on the
We
9th?
are running a bus. I don't know who wrote that note on there. So I don't know if it's just open to,
Friends level can still sign up.
I would think so, but you might call
Did
the
you
Walton
read
Arts
this
Center.
in your email calendar?
I read it on the, yes, the big picture.
Life?
Yes, that hasn't come out. Do I call Walton to get the tickets?
Let me call Walton Arts Center and then we'll put out a telegram.
No, they are very specific. It's only for the Friends level.
Okay, so we can't go this year.
They're talking about the Broadway previews. There's one on the 9th for friends only, but we are running a bus. We have a sign-up sheet for that. There is another showing, but we've also invited Walton Arts Center to town meeting. So let's see if we can get them here for the next town meeting to go over the series.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you.